I gotta get something for that, people, please. That's gotta be worth a follow. Doesn't
Okay. Well, I'm back up
doesn't
now.
he look like? Doesn't Shooty Gatwa look a little bit like the guy from S Club 7 in that picture, people? Was it? No, it's not Paul. Paul's the white army-looking guy. Who's the? I don't want to say the person of color. Who's the person of color in S Club? S Club. Phil, I'm looking at you. You might know this. You know S Club. Ollie,
Yay, we're finally back up.
how are you?
Live is
Ollie,
back.
do you
The
know S
uptime
Club?
of the session will continue. And it does seem to have been the problem with the patching. As in, the patching was actually necessary.
What usually is.
Oh
I
God!
know, but it was,
Remember,
it's
when
stream
I
labs.
actually thought for a long, I thought for a long time this was Jack.
You thought Doomcock was Jack?
I actually thought it was him at one point. There were just similarities in the things they said, word for word.
Maybe it is. We don't know where he goes.
Well, Virgin the Earth. Yes. I can imagine him being a
God,
lame ass Doctor
Doctor
Doom
Doom
cosplayer.
Mate, he
it's
looks like a
Doctor
really bad
Doom
Doctor
one.
Who villain.
Well, you can't quite see the headline, but look. Apparently, John Favreau's quit.
No, not John Favreau.
It's like,
Who's
what?
that?
Happy.
Yeah, I can't name the guys, by the way, in S Club 7. I only know the girls in S Club 7. For no reason. And there'll be no follow-up questions.
Oh, Trigger! I think we both know that we don't need a reason. We both know.
I've got to Google S Club 7.
Yo. I was always a Joe, man.
You're talking about this guy, who's the new Doctor.
No, that's the new villain. Jarhead.
Bradley McIntosh.
Bradley. There we go. That's why I couldn't remember his name. It's something stupid.
Because it was like, yeah.
Turned into rate your 90s pop stars. So out of the Spice Girls, I was always a baby man. For obvious perverted reasons.
Right. Is that where I have to pull out the...
Isn't that... To be fair, though, Phil says, don't describe myself as a baby man. It's like, isn't that how all men are described nowadays? There's giant baby men.
Man babies.
Man babies, exactly.
Yeah. Yes, pretty much what it is. That's weird.
We had Tattoo. They were hot. Cranberries, they were nice. Ollie Cohen, what's your 90s pop band crush? You're my number one.
trying
I'd
to think which
do
other ones you had at that
anything
point.
for you.
I mean, you had the beautiful chorus.
All right, a beautiful cause.
The beautiful chorus. And Brian.
Yeah, but none of those could hold a candle to Britney. Britney.
Do we really think he could paint it? Oh,
She was in a schoolgirl's outfit and then in a red leather outfit. I mean, damn, you can't beat that.
Right.
You can't trust the what's it called though, because apparently she looks like her dad. Oh, I don't fancy her dad.
Right.
I love we're on S Club 7 somehow. We've gone so far off tangent. We need a fucking map and a compass, people.
Yeah. Right.
We are in Alpha Centauri. Apparently. That is right, Phil. There is no party like an S Club party, and an S Club party don't stop. Do you know, when I was younger, I didn't question S Club. Now I'm older and I look at it. That was just a big gangbang across America, wasn't it? They were just in a bus having sex all the time.
Maura, do you want to say anything about this? Or do you not know anything about S Club?
I'll be perfectly honest. In the 90s, I had the horrible misfortune of being around what would be the female equivalent of a man-child that was obsessed with the Spice Girls.
Jack?
So, what? No, funnily enough, worse. My auntie.
Olly? Oh.
No, I'm not related to Olly.
Hold on, your aunt's a guy?
Your auntie liked S.
Okay, I think we're getting a bit of cutout here because that is not even close to what I said.
You said a man-child.
I said the female equivalent of a man-child.
Oh, I didn't catch that bit.
Okay, there might have been some cutout there, but yeah. My auntie was obsessed with Spice Girls, so I kind of had my fill of these fucking horrible things.
I would feel the Spice Girls.
I'm sure you would.
So I was just
What, even the ginger one?
I was just thinking of what you said earlier on about S Club and just imagining Jack as that, S Club super fan.
Mate, you go back and watch the TV show. I think it was literally them doing drugs and having an orgy across America.
Before
They're all
Star
very
Wars.
much happy.
It was a peaceful time for him, a quiet time, an S Club time. But then someone showed him Star Wars and he veered off course.
That's because he couldn't resist a vroom vroom.
Yeah, the lightsaber.
And then there was Princess Leia in a gold bikini. Before the dark times. Thank you, Ollie.
Before the dark times, before the Empire. Which is so true, because I mean, S Club always nice and bright and colourful. The sort of
Dun 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 dun.
But yes, Jon Favreau has joined the list of people that Doomcock has told everyone is leaving Disney, along with all the clones of Kathleen Kennedy, who've all left, apparently. or
Who
versions from
showed
other
her the cloning
galaxies.
suite?
You know, maybe they're clones, maybe they're not, maybe they're just from other universes, but apparently they've all been fired.
Hawk, why haven't we got a Goblin
but-
was right counter, by the way?
Sorry, we
Well,
need to
then make
get the sin counter back up to where it was.
We've got a sin counter for every time I do something naughty, but we never have a Goblin was right counter.
I'm not covering the screening counters.
I mean, if I had a quarter for every time I was right, I would have 2 quarters, which isn't a lot, but it's, you know.
Still weird that it happened twice.
Exactly.
But, you know, it doesn't happen that much.
Next episode, a future Goblin will come back in time and explain why. So there you go. So the S stands for Simon Cowell in S Club 7.
It does.
Because he created S Club 7.
Oh. Simon Club 7. Ooh, that sounds sinister. Yeah, that sounds very sinister.
Mr. Sinister.
Is there a law where where Simon Cowell is Mr. Sinister and he's searching for mutants on Britain's Got Talent?
Oh my god, he should. He really could pull it off.
That would be an episode of
Weird.
X-Men,
Weird.
wouldn't it? Cyclops, I didn't like it. I loved it.
I thought it was rank.
You think everything's wank.
Holy shows!
But one thing we haven't covered this week in all our ramblings. X-Men!
We covered it a little bit while you were away. We warmed them up.
Yes. X-Men. I know you're
but
not.
I think
happy
I'm
with
going to
it.
be the lone voice on this one.
See,
I'm pretty sure of this.
agree with you. I agree with you that it's not done well.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. But the last few episodes, especially this one, have not been handled well. That said, I would say it's gone all screaming reference. There was a lot of referencing this episode. I mean,
here's a very weird question.
Well, Captain America turning up, the Hulk being referenced, a banner of a sign of Tony Stark or Stark Industries.
Here's a question: is there a chance that Disney are re-editing? Because these aren't the same. With this, the last couple of episodes have not been what we had at the beginning. I feel like they're editing on the fly, and we've got some shit out of them recently.
I mean, there's been some reviews which have been very, very desperate, like really desperately clinging on to some weird stuff, like Rogue's fighting style is like, oh, it's all references to her fighting style in the Marvel versus Capcom game. Like,
Yeah, that's
really?
how she fights.
What you mean? What you mean?
Really?
Her rushing up and punching thing?
That means
No.
right?
The hero landing, the flipping, the rolling in the air, and the kick apparently are all references to her moves in that game.
Yeah, but weren't the moves of
It's
that
like,
game
really?
taken from the TV show from the 90s, which means...
First of all, Rogue didn't debut. First of all, Rogue didn't debut in Marvel vs. Capcom. She debuted in X-Men vs. Street Fighter.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Oh, I'm thinking of the wrong
we've got
game.
Maura
Sorry.
here. Maura's the fucking expert on this bullshit.
Yeah, because funnily enough, she was one of the few characters that wasn't in X-Men: Children of the Atom. But she appeared in X-Men.
That was
She
a good
appeared in
game.
X-Men vs. Street Fighter, then Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, then was an assist character for Marvel vs. Capcom, then was in Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Okay.
And even then, the only thing she really did in those games were she did the superhero landing, which again, that's not really exclusive to her.
Yeah.
As Deadpool says, every
and kicking
fucker does
things.
that.
Oh,
It's bad
the
for your
only
knees.
the only unique thing she had going for was she could grab a character and kiss them and steal their powers. And this is like Zangief, where she could
I
steal his
remember playing
fiber.
that.
And this is the fun one. She can steal the Yoga Flame and even kiss Akuma and steal the Shungoku Satsu, although instead of using the giant kanji he uses, she gets a giant X.
Shingoku Katsu!
Well, just okay, she won't be killed by it because you have... The way the Shungoku Satsu works is it's an insta-kill if you're evil. So...
Oh, can we get a clip of Wolverine saying, "What's your problem, bub?" Because I feel like we'd be using that a lot.
What's your problem, bub? Look, look, all I was seeing with Rogue was she's just watched a genocide.
Yeah.
She's just had the whole thing with Remy happen, so she's pissed. And also, something that I think was either mentioned by Olly is one of the common things in superhero comics is that the characters are always holding back how strong they actually are for the obvious reason if they don't want to kill or hurt people.
Well, yeah,
so the whole
can atomize you in a fucking second if she wants
well,
to.
yeah. So her smashing through a thing that is specifically made to hold the Hulk is not that unsurprising because she's got the powers of Captain Marvel. So she's fucking strong and she's pissed off. She has the powers of Captain Marvel. She's pissed off and she's Southern. That is some very hot blood.
By the way, can I just point out in the Deadpool trailer how cool it was seeing that the Renegades have the sound cannons from the Incredible Hulk film.
In which trailer?
Just wanted to point out in the new Deadpool trailer, the basically the mutant Renegades have the Hulk sound cannons that they used in the second film with Abomination. They've basically weaponized the tanks from the second Incredible Hulk film.
Oh yeah, I know.
They have them in the Deadpool film, and I went, "Oh my god! I've just realised they've got the sound tech from another film that they've basically deleted from the timeline." So this film is literally a reference. Well, no, but you know what I mean. They've corrupted it into a different timeline where it's what's it called instead of what's his name? What's it called instead of what's his name? I want to say Ruffalo and Norton.
No, because they do count that. They do count that as MCU.
No, but technically, because he looks differently, it would be a split timeline where he looks slightly different in TT. That's how the Time Bureau works. It'd be a different alteration of the character.
I think they just acknowledge it's the same person.
Yeah, they just say the events are the same, but he looked differently, so he'd be a variant. I said the Time Bureau is weird, but yeah, it's interesting that they are in the trailer because I was like, oh, they literally paying really close attention to details in that, and I went, I'm so looking forward for to reprise his role as Sabretooth. Because we got Sabretooth, Toad, and Pyro all coming back from the X-Men, from the Fox universe. And that is going to be amazing to see.
Yeah, actually, I should pull that up. Deadpool. In case people haven't actually seen the bits we're referencing.
If you haven't seen the Deadpool trailer, please go watch it because I have watched it about 40 times now because it's so good. There's a line that literally gets me every single time where Deadpool goes, is that what happened to your universe? And it kicks me in the crotch every time he says it. And I'm like, I don't know why, but that delivery really hurts me. Because he's like trying to save his universe, and he goes, "It's not my problem." Is that what you said when your universe went to shit? And I'm like, oh. Literally every single time, it makes me tear up a little bit.
This is what I'm talking about.
That's the bit by the giant Ant-Man head. Yeah.
Mate, and by the way, just to point out, that the scenery of her living in a giant Ant-Man skull for the Cerebro thing is amazing.
It
is looking to be a very good film. Hawk, when are you free? We've got to organise a trip to see this.
I'm trying to.
Yeah. So it's Deathstrike, Toad, Sabretooth, Pyro is on the back of the car. Azale's there. As I said,
Yep,
that lineup is a
Azale's just there.
Fight.
But yeah, we've got Lady Deathstrike from X2, Toad, but it's the guy who played Darth Maul, Ray Parks or something like that.
We've got rumours of a alternative Hulk turning up as well, because they're in Hulk's lair at the end of the time in one of the scenes. So we could be getting an alternative Hulk, which means either we're going to get Red Hulk or we're going to get one of the old Hulks turn up to reprise their roles, which is going to be amazing.
If it's a full, do you know what I want? I want it to be a full CG version of
I know where you're going with this. I want him at the end of the fight for him to walk off and we get the music.
I want a CG version of the Lutheringo Hulk. I don't know why.
Mate, the funny thing is, I wouldn't put it past fucking Ryan.
Yeah, that would just be the best.
Actually fucking do it. And I'm like, dude. Because he'll do it just to be a dick.
Can he do that? Can he retcon the end of the show? Can he retcon Death of the Incredible Hulk? And bring back that Incredible Hulk?
Because they did it in the film. Because we know that he can survive that now, so yeah.
No, because he dies as Banner.
It in 2 of the films. Yeah, but Banner hits the Rainbow Bridge and dies, and he comes back as the Hulk. And he does it in the Abomination film. He hits the ground as Banner and he gets up as the Hulk. So technically, we know he can do it.
No, because he gets buried in that film.
So technically,
Maestro would make great sense. Yeah, but that's the thing. Well, yeah, I know it's more likely to be Maestro, but still.
Yeah, but
we can dream.
Maestro team up
to
take on those fuckers. Maestro's not going to team up to take on that list of villainy.
You know, we want the original team up Hulk.
Actually,
he teamed up with Thor.
I don't think.
And he was a goblin.
Thor
thought he was a goblin.
We don't want a Hulk turning up right with Nova there, right? That's bad.
Yeah, that's a very bad thing. Oh,
it's like, Cassandra Nova's not going to take control of the Hulk and kill us. Unless we've got a fucking Magneto helmet big enough for the Hulk. No.
Oh. Yeah.
Can we find a Magneto helmet big enough for the Hulk?
I doubt it.
I've got to turn your volume on because I like this line.
But yeah, that is... When is that? July 26th. Ooh, heat of the summer.
Yeah, well, it's not... Mate, it's not... Mate, heat of the summer, where do you want to be? I want to be in a cinema. Air-conditioned cinema. Top-notch.
Depends on which cinema you go to.
I don't care. I will arrange a date. We can go and watch it because I will find a day. I might not even have the family. They might be in Spain. I want to go watch this.
What, in July?
This is the first one. This is the first Marvel film that I've actually been excited to go and see at the cinema.
Yeah, I must admit I haven't really been that excited recently to.
And we know it's going to
Just-
be rated high enough that there won't be a load of kids in there.
Good point. Good point.
Mate, I always make good points. No one listens to me. That's the problem.
Actually, Mura's the one that I'm interested in his opinion of Deadpool. Because
I'm sorry, you cut out
where
there.
do you
What about Deadpool?
where do
Me
you
and
stand
Deadpool?
when it comes to Deadpool?
I like Deadpool. I do think that he's been overexposed in general, but that's not really the problem with the character. That's more him peaking in popularity and, you know, him getting a lot more exposure with people, well, with casual fans. But I like Deadpool, and I do think, well, Ryan Reynolds is just the perfect Deadpool.
So
That's where I
you're a
stand. Like, I
fan of
think
the
it's kind of like how Hugh Jackman is basically always going to be Wolverine no matter what.
But that's
Like,
why when he does the line of "You are the X-Man," it was like,
Yeah,
he is the
that
first
is
person
quite
you
the-
think of when you see X-Men.
Well, let's face it, they brought him into X-Men First Class for the sole purpose of just doing that one line.
Mm.
It was perfect because he looks just like he's become so synonymous with the character, you can't really see anyone else playing him. Ryan Reynolds does it because, as a person, if you've ever seen how Ryan Reynolds behaves on Twitter in general and stuff, he's very much Deadpool. I mean, hell, even in the first Wolverine movie, he was, before they did the whole stitching his mouth and everything, he was pretty much like what Deadpool was meant to be.
Well,
Yeah.
In fact, watch Blade 3, and seriously try and tell me that Ryan Reynolds isn't acting like Deadpool.
Well, we've got Ryan Reynolds' comedy film that's out this week, I believe, Imaginary. Which again, this is going to be an interesting to see, because obviously he's done a lot recently, and this could be an interesting one to see if he's still in shape for what he's doing now. Because this is right up his alley. This is a family comedy film, so.
Well, I haven't watched any of his recent comedies.
Oh, may I please suggest the Scrooge film that he made? It is hilarious. He made a piss take of the Scrooged film by Bill Murray. Basically, it was good.
Because I know he did was it like a video game one recently, or like a year ago?
He did the Scrooge film last year. He did the Free Guy before that, I believe,
That was
and
it,
now he's
yeah.
got Imaginary out this month. This month coming, he's got Imaginary out, which looks interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got a schedule, I tell you. He has been throwing films out, and I'm like,
so yeah, that's something to look forward to.
I don't think a film of this caliber is going to do any more harm to the MCU than
my goodness!
past
What
problems.
is it with people
Getting
talking
back
like
onto
that? Disagree with it. I was like, just save the MCU.
Getting back onto X-Men. Yeah, getting back onto the episode and stuff. It was good. It's good to see Nightcrawler actually get his original X-Men costume back. Yeah, it was nice to have all that stuff. Rogue's thing was fun for what it was. the reference is to the Zero Tolerance Act.
But the thing is, you tell me that fight scene in this film is not going to be amazing with all of that lineup. That lineup alone, that is worth the price of the ticket. If we see Deadpool, those mutants, that is worth
Zale's
that price
teleporting, Lady Deathstrike upped to actually do some damage. You know,
Sabretooth versus Wolverine, Pyro in the background.
Well,
and that's the thing is, I know there's at least 5 other people in that scene.
It's going to be Lady Deathstrike versus Deadpool, because there's definitely going to be a lot of like he's going to make some sort of one-liner at her, and then she's going to she's going to pull the claws, and he's going to be like, "Kitty's got claws," or some other sort of.
Who wants to bet it's going to be a one-liner involving her name and making a reference to her stroking him off with the claws?
Oh, Hawk, by the way, there's
something like that.
News that I mentioned to Laura earlier. We have been guaranteed an X-Men film before Secret Wars.
Oh.
Yeah, we guaranteed a X-Men film before Secret Wars. It was out this morning at like 10 o'clock, apparently, that news dropped. And I was like, oh. Well, that changes everything in Secret Wars if we're getting X-Men before.
But yeah, get onto the regular show, because we've only really spoke about Rogue. I liked the references and stuff. I did think the whole introduction of Bastion and the Prime Sentinels and a bunch of stuff, which cool for the comic fans and stuff if you know what that stuff is. But not explaining it is kind of a problem.
Yeah. As I said, the main problem with this show is that editing is so bad that not explaining anything, and then you find out.
Yeah, they can't use the argument of, well, it's in the intro and stuff. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good enough, because Bastion isn't something you can just explain simply.
No.
Yeah, especially
because his entire existence of what he is, because he's literally a master, like a Nimrod with a master mold, and his entire existence into why he's doing what he's doing requires President Kelly, well, when he was a senator, the wake up protocol, the Zero Tolerance Act, and in the comics, it literally the first time took the Avengers and the X-Men and a bunch of other shit to stop him, until also the way he works, because he's a literal fucking Sentinel. The closest they've ever gotten to hurting him is when Hope Summers fought him, and that's only because Bastion's one major weakness is he cannot adapt to powers he doesn't understand.
Well, the funny thing is, as well, they're setting up the Avengers in 97.
Well, yeah, that's what
we've had. Captain America, Hulk, and Stark all in 2 episodes.
Well, that was in 1 episode. That was
all in one episode. Even worse. So we are having the Avengers in.
Not only that, I think we should probably mention the whole Gambit being dead thing, and we all know what's coming, because they gave ridiculous focus to Emma being the only survivor. Because another thing they need to remember is that in the show they don't explain how many people were on Genosha. And in the episode, I think either before that or in that very episode, actually, Scott's kind of gone off on one. And one of the things he said was, be grateful we're on your side. And, implying, we haven't had a reason to turn on humanity yet.
I liked your theory more about, what's it called, being Mystique.
I think the blonde woman that's working for the president, that's working between the United States government, whatever she's doing, I think that's Mystique.
See, my problem with the Bastion reveal was literally this. Okay, Nimrod.
Go on.
Bastion is the combination of Nimrod and Master Mold. Nimrod is literally in the past for 2 minutes. They find the portal. They get into a scrap with him. They blow him to pieces.
They destroyed the thing that kept him in the past.
And he ends up back in the future.
Well, here's the main problem is they're trying to do the Sentinel, what's it called, virus, but they haven't set it up or earned it, and it shows.
That's the problem, because they haven't explained it. Trask turned into a fucking Sentinel. Not it wasn't Trask, was it? It was the other one, because Oliver Trask has been killed by Bastion.
You're on about Gyrick.
After being drained by
Henry
Rogue,
Gyrick.
Gyrick, yeah.
Gyrick.
Yeah, Gyrick's been killed by Bastion after being drained to fuck by Rogue. Trask was turned into a Sentinel Prime. Well, he was a Prime Sentinel, and apparently we're meant to believe he's been a Prime Sentinel all this time and didn't know, because that was a thing in the comics that they infected them and they just never knew.
By the way, just so Mora doesn't get away with it, I would let Rogue drain me.
Yeah. You need some Southern comfort. But then there's also the fact that I think, and this is a thing I really think is going to suck, if we get an exposition from fucking Cable.
Oh, God.
Because let's face it, because I said this to you earlier, the problem is... Well, that's what they've done, because ultimately, the Trask Sentinel was able to take out all the X-Men on his own, and yet Cable was able to take him out with one pulse grenade, and he knows about it. He's also been appearing recently to warn people about what's happening, which means that I think that something happened because when Bishop took him back, something's happened.
This is the thing.
I don't know how they're going to explain it, but they've only got a few episodes, and by the end of it,
they should have kept it Cassandra Nova and explained her origin stuff, so they don't have to do it in the Deadpool film.
I also want to throw something up. I think we might be getting Onslaught.
Well, yeah, because I remember I followed that thread earlier, and I was like, "Oh, look, he's responsible for Onslaught." It's weird that these things are connected.
Well, again, Onslaught is literally just Magneto, is like the dark side of Charles Xavier in Magneto. So he's really fucking powerful in his own right, and Charles is on his way, but it can't be, they can't bring in Cassandra Nova because, of course, Charles Xavier literally quoted her word for word from the comic from when she was smirking about Genosha being wiped out.
Yeah, but
She said the exact same thing, but in a completely different tone than what Charles Xavier said. But Charles is on his way back, which Bastion and Sinister are now aware of.
But they literally should have kept it as Cassandra Nova. It would have made more sense, and then they wouldn't have to explain it for the film.
I agree. But also, you've got to remember that they've got, 2-3 more episodes before the season's over.
I put it out there that 70% of X-Men fans don't have a fucking clue about her.
Well, no, they don't. But then, of course, because Gambit's dead, you and I both know he's coming back, which means the Horsemen are coming, which means Apocalypse is going to come back and probably be the villain for season 2.
Which means all of the dead people that we think are dead from Genosha.
Or at least the ones that he wants, because Apocalypse has stand.
We should have queued up the gravestones and see who's lined up there and actually see.
Well,
if we
again,
can pick out
so far, the only survivor of Genosha, apart from Rogue and Nightcrawler, is Emma Frost. Although, have you also noticed lately that everybody is getting pissy? Like, Beast's getting really fucking pissy, which is very out of character for him.
Well, to be fair, he literally just had a genocide, basically. I would get a bit pissy. I know,
but everyone's pissed off, which is why I'm glad that Nightcrawler's around, because Nightcrawler's like the single bit of positivity they can rely on at this point. So I mean, I'm happy for the X-Men team to grow at this point. But also
I was very happy to see
tied to a chair, being shaved with really annoying music on. I'm pretty sure that's how Nazis actually torture people.
I was very happy to see Rogue go full fucking Scarlet Witch and start throwing fuckers out windows.
Oh yeah, I loved
just to prove superheroes can just lose their fucking shit.
Well, again, that's the point.
That's the point. To stop her. Fuck no.
Well, that's the thing. You can't. That's the thing. They're always holding back. But also the Genosha thing. In the comics, the worry with the whole Genosha incident that they did was that now mutants have more than enough reason to go to war with humans, because they keep Strong Guy mentioned a war is coming. Oh yeah, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the whole coming out as gay allegory apparently from that went in for the, that guy revealing he's a mutant to his mom, and they're doing the whole but now we've got to make sure no one knows. Yeah,
well, isn't that the same storyline from Archangel? It literally, I remember that same storyline from the Archangel episode. Because he came out to his dad and he went, "All right, we're going to lock you up in a fucking tower. No one's going to find you." Sort of bullshit.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
but
Warren Worthington.
Well, the thing is that the way the humans are treating the mutants in the series now, they're mentioning they're going to be replaced. Now, in the comics, Charles Xavier did do a whole thing of going, yeah, that's how evolution works. Human beings took from the Neanderthals when they outnumbered them. Mutants are probably going to do the same to humans. That's just how. Though the Genosha incident brought humanity probably 20 more years, because originally in comics it was mentioned 18 million mutants were on Genosha before that giant thing killed them.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's you got to say.
Sorry.
I thought you were going to say something.
No.
I see you brought up the breaking news report thing.
No, I was just no, I was literally just pulling up the pictures because basically my problem with the episode was basically one thing.
Go on.
Guy comes up, Sinister starts saying like, "Oh yes, but you used to be a villain," and everything, and I was just left there wondering, who the fuck is this?
Yeah, it'd have been nice if we'd actually got a full episode of him
explaining what's going on.
Even if it was they retconned it in as a flashback episode, but
because all they can do now is do a massive exposition dump about how Master Mold. Master Mold created a thing in all of his Sentinels so that they couldn't just come back and overrule him. So Master Mold, who at this point is still, it doesn't even make any sense in the bloody timeline. The only time Nimrod had access to a time machine was literally that one episode because he broke into Forge's time machine. And that was the only time he had.
If they'd kept Cassandra
And then he goes over to Master Mold, who at this point hasn't been destroyed yet because we're talking partway through season 1. So we're not really sure where Master Mold really is. He's under a mountain at the moment. Well, buried at the moment. So somehow Nimrod and Master Mold merge consciousness and become a Sentinel, which goes against the comic book where they're in a fight with Rogue and then get absorbed through a crystal.
Well, from what I remember in the comics, Nimrod literally just found a broken Master Mold, and because in the comics there were loads of, there were at least a few of them in the world, that some of which he didn't know of. And he basically tried to use their parts to enhance himself, and he got blasted through a portal. He came through as a human, or at least a human-like thing, got picked up by someone, And due to the Project Wake Up thing, which was the government's, which was Senator Kelly's approved way of trying to control the news of the mutants, which was don't report on anything positive, only report the negative things, which only reinforced the thing he already had, which was his hatred of mutants. Then when he found a master mold in the current timeline, he got all of his memories back somehow and did a bunch of shit to improve himself. Because I don't understand how he's got all that technology from the future, like all that advanced technology to make all the Prime Sentinels, because Beast keeps commenting that it's all really advanced, like even more advanced than what they're used to.
Yeah, I feel like next episode is going to be a fucking dump episode before our last episode of some action.
I mean, they've got to deal with Bastion to make way for the stuff that's coming, because let's face it, Apocalypse is coming at this point, because you can't leave Gambit dead for long.
I just say how much Nimrod looks like a GoBot.
He looks so much like Crasher, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking that. I was like, all I'm thinking is of that GoBot series.
Yeah. Oh, that Hanna-Barbera thing. God, I remember that cartoon. I always thought he just looked like a weird shaped piece of gum.
It was a weird thing.
Yeah, that'd be stupid. That'd be stupid.
No, that's Wreck-Gar. That's a Transformer, not a GoBot.
No, I know. I watched Weird Al earlier, so I thought.
The kids watching it, Weird Al.
Oh mate, there's a video on YouTube of them showing teenagers Weird Al for the first time, and they freak the fuck out.
Yeah, this is the funniest video ever. Bastion was not born human. He was born as two separate beings, the Sentinel Master Mold and the highly advanced Sentinel Nimrod from an alternative future. While posing as a human construct, Nimrod unearthed a module from Master Mold. As soon as Nimrod made physical contact with the module, Master Mold's program began to co-opt Nimrod's. Shortly after, during a conflict with the X-Men, the two of them, along with the X-Man Rogue, were blasted through the Siege Perilous, a mystical crystal capable of judging any who passed through it and reincarnating them into a new life, consumer in quality with their previous life. It was the Siege Perilous that merged Nimrod and Master Mold into a single being with no memory of its past. Bastion was eventually found by Rose Gilberti, who took him in and taught him human kindness. However, unbeknownst to him, when Bastion began to hear about America's mutant problem, his mutant termination directives were reactivated. He abandoned Rose and sought out high-profile mutant critic Graydon Creed and his Friends of Humanity. After regaining his identity as a Sentinel, Bastion attempts to lead another crusade against the mutants by turning Machine Man into a Sentinel Supreme. But Machine Man and Cable were able to defeat him. He was returned to the government custody, only to be beheaded by Apocalypse's Horsemen of Death.
That was
and then it's like the story of his corpse. Sorry?
Why does the Siege Perilous remind me of something? I've heard it before, but not in X-Men.
Well, the Siege Perilous was the name of the massive warship in Andromeda. The big spidery-looking one that was bigger than the Andromeda.
Maybe. I feel like I've heard it in
Wrath
another
of
Marvel
Achilles.
project.
The Wrath of Achilles was a Siege Perilous.
They didn't mention it in like Doctor Strange or something, did they?
Possibly.
Because I feel like I've heard it in a Marvel project before, and I don't know why. And it's really
That's where I know
really
it from.
bugging me in the back of my head. Yeah, something's bugging me in the back of my head, and now that usually means something. I've got that itch that's... I might have to look into
first
that.
appearing in Captain Britain comic and in the both of us.
Cat video!
Siege Perilous, the empty... No, it doesn't mention it as being, but, people leave stuff out.
Was it in the original Spider-Man animated series?
No. I
Oh,
don't
my
think
brain hurts
so.
now. Something's really bugging me, and it's getting there. I'm sure it's been mentioned in another Marvel project thing. I don't
Well, as
know
I
if
said,
it was in Spider-Man or.
As soon as I saw it, I was thinking of the Wrath of Achilles. So yeah, I was like, huh? Somehow this is going to get blamed on the system's Commonwealth. I just know it. It's always a bloody Commonwealth starship that's to do with it. Just I don't sound like I'm gone crazy. That's a Siege Perilous. Horrible looking thing. Loads of limbs and stuff.
Mate, I have seen that jewel somewhere before.
As I said, Siege Perilous. It just mentions it in Arthurian legend.
No, it was mentioned in Ultimate Spider-Man recently. That's where it's from. I've seen it from. Steals it from the Amrian. It's the Dimension Hopper from X-Men, from Spider-Man Unlimited. Oh, bollocks! It's the jewel that Spider-Man uses in Spider-Man Unlimited to jump between the Spider-Verse. Oh, that's where I know it from. Thank you, brain. Thank you, Google. Yeah, I knew I'd seen it recently. Yeah, Spider-Man uses it to fight off Wolf Spider and the ultimate ultimate Goblin, and he meets all of the other versions. It's the Into the Spider-Verse doohickey from Ultimate Spider-Man.
Ultimate Spider-Man doohickey from Ultimate Spider-Man. Why does it sound like that? Sound
Yeah,
like one of those sort of bluff sort of ones, like we're expecting Mura to sort of chime in at this point and go like which one is the actual explanation? It's either a thing that gives new life, or it's a Spider-Man dimension hopping doohickey.
In
Everyone get ready with your cards.
Spider-Man Unlimited, it gets shattered into loads of pieces, and he has to go across the Spider-Verse to reassemble them with the help of alternative Spider-Man that he meets in these Spider-Man universes. Because Ultimate Goblin shatters it, trying to destroy the universe. Is the rough rundown from what I remember of it. I haven't watched it for years. But that's how my brain worked. It knew it heard it, and it was like, it's like having an itch in the back of my brain going, "You've heard that before. Where have you heard it from?" And I'm like, yeah.
Well,
yeah,
it's a dimension hopping doohickey.
Well, to say our reviews for this episode, I was disappointed. I was very disappointed.
Yeah, they've got a lot of pieces to put together before.
Look, again, I'm gonna sit back and see how this ends.
Yeah,
obviously, because
we put a lot of time into it, so it's worth seeing how it ends. But they've got a lot of shit to cover.
Look, I will say this so far: it started off well. Sorry, they started off well, and it slowly started to go. Okay, like I get that they've got to, that they probably feel they have to do their own thing. I get that, but the thing still has to make sense. And the way they've done it, the presentation has not been great for the last few episodes.
Yeah.
And introducing Bastion the way they have, and just going, oh, well, he's been around and all that. Like, yeah, but here's the thing. You're near the end of the season, and you've got a few episodes to even explain him.
I feel like they're re-editing this on the fly, because these last couple of episodes, compared to the first couple of episodes, have been awfully edited, and it feels like they're editing them on the fly.
Also, doesn't it feel like Wolverine is a bit, lacking in this season?
I think they fired him because they wanted to make these edits, and literally they're doing it on every week. They're re-editing it and putting out the shit that they wanted to do, because these are not the same quality as the first couple of episodes.
No, and it's around the time when,
and I wouldn't put it past them to do it.
It's around the time as well when it was supposed to be like the big change up. Like, he reckoned the big change up was going to be the Geonosian attack, and it's been so sloppy. It just feels so sloppily edited now. It's like someone stepped in and gone, oh, I want to make it into this like anime fan fiction of that to try and up the ratings.
That's the thing. I personally think he didn't go to the premiere because they interjected and made it this, and literally they then went, well, if you're going to be like that, you're out. Fuck you. That makes so much sense more than, oh, we fired him because of X, Y, and Z. No, I think he didn't want you doing this to his show and then refused to go to the premiere backing it. That is a timeline that I can get behind, because these aren't the same. Literally, the first 2-3 episodes were good, and you've changed them to this shit. And if you change my good work into shit, I wouldn't want to go to the premiere and go, oh no, I fully support this. I think that's what has actually happened.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance of that.
Because again, I think the common theme with the last few episodes ever since has been, it's just something's fell off. And to be honest, I will admit that the last scene with Bastion shaving Magneto made me uncomfortable, but not in the way you might think.
You know what made me uncomfortable is because I wanted it to be the song on the thing to be Easy Street, just to do a Walking Dead reference. Do 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 do.
Yeah, so
Easy Street, good champagne.
So yeah, we're either going to get a massive exposition dump to explain what the fuck Bastion is.
Oh, Hawk, can we cue that song up to go out on?
It's also possible that Charles Xavier is going to appear before the end of the season or be ready for season 2. But even if he does come back and they get are they going to get Magneto back as well? Is that going to be a whole thing where Charles and Magneto kind of like run the school, run the X-Men?
That's the problem. At the moment, I don't know what's going on, because it literally, the last 3 episodes have turned it into gibberish.
Well, also that they've made it so if you're trying to do this as a comic fan, what they've done is they've gotten the Cassandra Nova hatred of mutants thing and the extermination of Genosha, given it to Mr. Sinister and Bastion.
Yeah.
So they've basically taken one storyline and given it to someone else. Introduced Bastion with no real explanation as to what he is, where he's from, and everything, which is why you've got all these videos up on YouTube now that have popped up like wildfire, explaining who the fuck he actually is.
Yeah, because no one knows who he is.
Yeah, and not only that, Trigger made a point that if Cassandra Nova is in the Deadpool movie, it would have made more. If this was, the plan to have her in the Deadpool movie for a long time, why not have Cassandra?
And they wouldn't have to waste time in a film that's going to be packed anyway to explain the villain. And I'm like, I feel like they've switched out Cassandra Nova on the fly, and we're getting gibberish.
Well, they've added Bastion and introduced him to the audience right near the end of season 1, and that's not good. And that's not, if season 2 is good. Like, I'm just going off of if they use season 2 to make Apocalypse the villain. Either you're going to have Bastion be here and it's going to end season 1 on a cliffhanger, which if they end season 1 on a cliffhanger, fuck you, seriously. And then the next half of season 2 is literally them dealing with the shit with Bastion. Because, he does a lot of fucked up shit in the comics, and if they're adapting shit from, we've got a long fucking road ahead of us. And then suddenly deciding halfway through, oh yeah, by the way, here's Remy is one of, and all of the used to like now as horse lips, and we'll deal with that for a bit. I don't know. I think if they'd maybe introduced Bastion a little sooner, but with everything going on, I think they're trying to do too much.
Well, that's why I think they've intermixed something else, because it's muddy and it's not what I saw when we first started watching this, and it feels like they're changing stuff.
I mean, again, I'm all for just, finishing it all off, finishing the story, so to speak, and seeing where they go with it. But they haven't exactly done themselves any favors.
Yeah. See, I got to agree with...
I think the likelihood is they've changed this.
Yeah, I agree with Sugarcane on this one, where it's like, well, what does Sinister gain from destroying Genosha?
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Exactly. This is why I think they've changed it from Nova for no reason.
My guess is, and this is a very big leap, so feel free to just go, no, that's stupid.
Quick, stand back, we're going to run up. The big leap.
Okay, so Sinister's only real loyalty to anyone, if there is loyalty to anyone else, is to Apocalypse.
Yeah.
The only thing he would get from Genosha would be corpses. Corpses that would be great candidates for Horsemen.
Well, yeah.
I know we're jumping on the Horseman wagon a bit, but this is a guy who is obsessed with genetics of mutants.
To be fair, that threw you when I brought it up earlier on. You were like, you are conspiracy theorying to the 10th degree, aren't you? And oh, the hat is on.
Oh yeah, the hat, the tinfoil hat is on. But the only thing Sinister gets out of this is there's 80. Let's just go with the 18 million mutants that have died on Genosha. That is 18 million different mutants, including Sebastian Shaw, all of the Morlocks, Dazzler, and those are just the ones we've seen. That's a lot of different mutants, and that is a lot of powers he could probably mess with.
That's a lot of teenagers with quirks.
Because again, what would Bastion want with the corpses? What does he want? He just wants them dead because that's what he's built for. He's a sentinel. His only concern is them being dead and not being around anymore. He doesn't need the corpses. Of course, Sinister's probably not dumb enough to understand that once his usefulness is done, he's technically still a mutant of some kind.
Except
he's still something that Bastion would try to kill.
Except I've suddenly thought of something.
Go on.
What if we've got it backwards?